Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the first episode of our new podcast, Pro Sports Talk. I'm Andrew, and I'm co hosting this with my friend Alex. Basically, on this podcast, we'll just be covering like everything sports related, whether it's football or baseball, basketball, hockey, or college related. Mostly, we'll just be having like casual conversations of all kinds of sports topics, like whether it's prevalent news or just random debates on past topics, like top tens on players, games, plays, or that sort of thing. Um, so if that interests you, then you should definitely stick around. So obviously it's Super Bowl week, which brings us into our first topic.
All right, so our first topic is the Super Bowl 53 matchup, and I'm personally really excited about this. I think it should be a really good matchup. Um, obviously I'm pulling for the Rams, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be a good game. I think if I had to put my money on, it, I think the Patriots are gonna win, but it should be a really good game. I think the key for the Rams, if the Rams can win for sure, I think their key is gonna be the internal pressure with Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh. So I think that's how they're gonna win. Also,
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like, I think the key matchup of the game is really going to be the Patriots' offensive line versus the Rams' defensive line. Because you watch Tom Brady with his offensive line, um, he's mostly just untouched, and he gets the ball out so fast already that he's just so protected in there. But then also you have that Rams defensive line arguably could be the best in the league. So I
right.
think that'll be a huge matchup. Whoever wins that definitely, I think, could easily win the game.
Yeah, I
Um,
think that'll be the deciding factor. I think another thing that'll benefit the Rams a lot will be getting Gurley going
yeah, for sure.
early on.
Well, also if Gurley's not going, getting C.J. Anderson going like they did
Right.
against the Cowboys and against the Saints, I don't know if he doesn't get going. I think they still beat the Cowboys, but the Saints, I don't think because Gurley had what 5 touches in that game. So if
Yeah.
Anderson doesn't get going, then they don't win that game. So
Right. Yeah, I mean it's a lot better though if they have Gurley going because C.J. Anderson. I mean he can. I don't know. There was a couple plays he just he just didn't look that great. I don't know. So if they can
yeah,
get
for
Gurley
sure.
going, if that'll be really
I
helpful
mean,
for them.
Gurley's definitely better, but who
Yeah.
knows if he can, because he's been dealing with the knee injury and everything.
Right. Right.
But also Jared Goff, how is he? Like, what do you think? Like he'll be able to do in his first Super Bowl in his third season? Like, you've got a 20. I think he's 24-year old going
Right.
up against a 41-year old and Tom Brady. Like, do you think Jared Goff is going to be intimidated, or like, what do you think you're going to see out of him?
Uh, I, I, I mean, I don't think so. I mean, he's a really great quarterback. I mean, it's a big stage, yeah. But I mean, he's an NFL player. He's been on under the spotlight already. I mean, I don't really see that from Jared Goff. Honestly, I mean, he's had some throughout his career. He's had some spotty performances like the Bears game. He threw what like 3, 4 interceptions. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think
Um,
you're right.
yeah, he's had some, but I mean that was against the Bears defense. This is the Patriots defense is significantly weaker. I think if they stick with things that work for them, like the play action passes, like to Tyler Higbee, those are working
Yeah,
very
that was
well
huge in the Saints game.
against the Saints. Yeah, like things like that. If they stick with things like that, um, they should be fine.
Well, yeah, the
Uh,
thing is, I was when we were watching the Saints game. I like personally, I don't think Jared Goff is like elite yet. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's really good quarterback for any team to have, but I don't think he's in that top tier yet. So when the Saints got that big lead, and you're seeing him not able to even hear the play calls or anything, I thought the Saints were, or the Rams were done for.
right.
Um,
Yeah.
but he comes like I was very impressed how he was able to overcome that, and he like his second half was really. I don't think people are talking about that as much. Like Jared Goff's second half, end of the first half too, how he got
Oh
that
yeah,
nice
end of the first
score,
half. That
that throw
score
to
was
I think it
that
was
was a big
Cooks.
momentum changer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because when you're going into halftime, how he got them those points before they went into the locker room, that was huge. And then his second half, just really impressive. I don't think people are talking about that enough because people are just talking about the pass interference call,
Right.
the no call. But Jared Goff's second half really was like very impressive.
Yeah, that was some really good
But
play.
yeah, and he just showed that I think even on a huge stage like where he's in the Saints Superdome, he was able to overcome that. So I believe in Jared Goff honestly in this game.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if he's, I don't think there should be an issue with him performing. I think it, like we said, it really comes down to that Rams defensive line.
Yeah, and uh, Jared Goff. I mean, he has Sean McVay too, who's probably one of
Right.
the best coaches in the league. But um,
Right. Yeah.
honestly, I think we're in for a great matchup.
Yeah. Should be offensively pretty solid.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm definitely expecting a lot of scoring. But
a lot of scoring. Yeah, for sure.
all right, want to move on to our second topic of Nick Foles landing spots this offseason?
Yeah, I guess so. So,
All right, so you're an Eagles fan,
I am an
obviously.
Eagles fan.
um, what do you think about Nick Foles this offseason?
I mean, I hate to see him go, but I'm also, excited to see him go because, you know, um, as an Eagles fan, I mean, just, I love him. But, I don't want him to leave because, he's, Nick Foles. But at the same time,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
gonna go start somewhere else and have, a team of his own. So I'm excited for him because I think he can be really successful. And also, having Carson Wentz, fully take over. So
yeah,
um, yeah, there's a couple landing spots that I'm seeing that should be some pretty solid ones. One of the first ones I'll just start off that I see here actually on NFL. This is who's this Greg Rosenthal is talking about. Um, he said the Jacksonville Jaguars is number one, and I like
yeah.
that one.
I could totally see
Um,
that.
right, because with Blake Bortles, he's going to be
Yeah,
going.
they're so lost right now with their quarterback spot. Like
Right.
they've got so much talent, but the quarterback spot is such a question mark.
Right. See, they could, a lot of the mock drafts had them like, taking, like Drew Lock or drafting a quarterback. But honestly, I think the Jaguars would be
Well,
better
where are
off
they in the
taking.
draft? Are they seventh or top 10?
Their top
I
ten,
think
yeah.
I think
Um,
they're seven. Yeah,
right. So I don't think they should draft a quarterback because if they can use their selection on, um, they can use their draft on other positions. They get Nick Foles. They
yeah,
can be a competitive team. They don't have to wait for. If they get Nick Foles, they don't have to wait for the quarterback to develop into
yeah,
um, a talent because they can win now with their defense and whatnot. I mean, their defense didn't play that great last year, but if it does play up to its actual talent level, they could be able to compete again with a
yeah.
real quarterback like Nick Foles. And then also they hired John DeFilipino as their offensive coordinator after he got fired by the Vikings, and they already have familiarity
Oh
with
yeah,
Nick
yeah.
Foles, so that
Oh yeah,
should
that'd
be
be a perfect match.
right.
And
So
the thing is, like the Jaguars, they showed just last year that they have a team that can get to an AFC Championship. I mean,
right,
with Blake Bortles as the quarterback, so like
right,
they're ready to win now. They're not waiting for um, all their talent to line up, get a new quarterback, and develop them. They're ready to win right now. Um,
right. The only
so
the only thing with the Jaguars is they need their defense to play up to its actual talent level, and they need more wide receivers for sure. I think
wait, sorry, more
uh,
what you cut out?
wide receivers.
Oh
I think
yeah,
that
yeah,
they lost Allen Robinson after last season. I mean, they just don't have as
yeah.
many.
That's true. I mean, but like if they don't um, take a quarterback with that draft pick, then they could take a wide receiver. I mean, I don't know if there's any good wide receivers that are top 10 worthy, but
Yeah, I'm not sure about top 10 worthy. That's the thing
they
is,
could even trade down
there's
if they need
definitely
to.
right. There's a few first rounders
Yeah,
that like I can't think of. There's
I'll look it
I
up.
can't remember off the top of my head. Nikhil Harry's one. I don't know if he's considered a top rounder, but there's one from I want to say Oklahoma or Oklahoma State or I don't remember. Yeah, Oklahoma. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
There's a few, but I'm not sure about like top 10. Um,
yeah.
So that's one landing spot. I definitely would like to see Nick Foles there.
Oh, there's a DK Metcalf from Mississippi. He could.
Uh,
I mean, he's like top 20 worthy. So I mean, they could trade down because there's a lot of guys,
Trade down,
or there's a
right?
lot of teams that would want to trade up, I guess, because of all the defensive talent in the draft. But
Right.
I mean, obviously, like the Jags, they're not. I think that they do, whether it's Foles or the draft, they do need to assess the quarterback situation because, like,
Oh, for sure.
Bortles is not going to
No. Yeah, no.
take them to a Super Bowl, and neither is Cody Kessler. So,
Oh, yeah, no, he's
um,
not.
yeah, they definitely have to fix that. And I think Nick Foles is definitely the right idea because, I mean, obviously the DeFilipino thing, um, and
Yeah.
just that he's already proven he's already won a Super Bowl, and that team already has so much talent, and they're ready to, like, I mean, they almost made the Super Bowl last year. Um,
Right. Yeah.
so,
They
yeah,
can definitely.
that's definitely the right idea. I mean, if the Jags can get him, I say they do it. It's just going to be a question of
Yeah.
if they can get him.
I mean, I think the hire of DeFilipino is or Defi, I'm saying his name wrong.
Oh,
Anyways,
DeFilippo. Oh, I said it wrong too.
yeah, yeah, it doesn't whatever. His I think the hire of him, I think I'd say that's a pretty good sign that they're going to try and go after Bortles because he wasn't that great of a play caller in Minnesota. They really floundered with all that offensive talent they
Yeah,
have in Minnesota. And I know Schaefer, you don't really think Kirk Cousins is that great,
yeah,
um,
that's yeah,
but even with even their receiving talent and their Dalvin Cook and Tavius Murray and they should play a whole lot better than that offensively, and that comes down to play calling.
yeah,
So he's not a great play caller, but for them to make that hire, I think
yeah. I agree.
um,
Not a good play caller, but
it's
I think he's a good quarterback mentor. Um, I
right.
mean, didn't he mentor Carson Wentz too?
Well, right,
Yeah,
yeah,
so yeah, I think he'd be a good mentor. I think he wasn't a good play caller, but I think when he's going back, like if he could be back with a quarterback that he already mentored like that, I think that'd be a good match. But like you said, Kirk Cousins, if the Vikings didn't give Kirk Cousins so much money, I wouldn't even rule out Nick Foles going there. I mean, I know it's a tough situation because of how much money they gave Kirk Cousins, but I honestly think the Vikings would be in better hands with Foles than Cousins. I mean, I don't know. That's just my opinion. I'm not too impressed with Kirk
yeah.
Cousins.
I don't know, potentially.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously that
Um,
won't happen because of how much money he got.
right.
Who else could he go to? Like teams that
Um,
have talent but not a quarterback. Like maybe the Dolphins. Um,
yeah, I see the Dolphins. That's an interesting one. I mean, hmm,
I mean, like is Tannehill like? Do you think he's a quarterback
they're move.
that's taking a team to a
No,
playoffs?
no. I mean, I think they already. There's already reports that the Dolphins are planning to move on from Tannehill. Um,
Yeah,
it's
I agree with that.
yeah. I mean, yeah. No, I don't. He's not going to be. Yeah, no. I mean, the thing is they're not. They have holes in their team in different places they're not. Uh, they could make the playoffs
Yeah, I
as a
mean they
wild
showed
card.
that they made the playoffs 2 years ago with Matt
Yeah,
Moore at quarterback.
yeah. I mean, but they still have a lot of holes, and they're not going to make they're
Yeah,
not going to be a real competitor.
that's true. I mean their
Even
defense
if they
is
get
okay.
Nick Foles.
They've got some
Yeah,
good offensive talent. Like Kenny and Drake is, I think he's really good. But yeah, I think they're in a weird spot right now. Honestly, I wouldn't be too excited if I
yeah.
was a
I think they
Dolphins
just.
fan.
I mean, I think they just need to add some more talent to a couple other places because they have a lot of young talent at well they have Kenny and Drake and they have some good talent at wide receiver
Yeah,
um, tight end too and in the secondary the Xavier Howard
yeah,
um, they just need a couple more pieces here and there and
yeah.
they could
I
be a
agree with that.
competitive team, but I'm not sure if Nick Foles is the right fit. I mean, maybe I feel like Nick Foles is more of a it's more something for a win now team like the Jags.
Yeah, I
The
agree with
Dolphins
that.
are still in sort of like a they're in a not in a full rebuild. They're sort of in a rebuild, like they're close.
Yeah.
Sort of. So
Another interesting one that I think would honestly be a great fit is the Redskins, because just like yesterday, the report came out that Alex Smith might be gone out for next year too, and like who knows how he returns after that injury. Like he might not ever be the same again. And the Redskins were in the lead of the division before he went down, so like I
right.
think if they got Nick Foles, they have talent. They could make a run in that division that's not all that great. I mean, the Cowboys show that they're good, but like it's not the strongest division, and I think they could make a run at it with Nick Foles.
Right. Yeah. Um. Yeah. I mean that could be a. I wouldn't want to see that, but
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true.
that could definitely be an interesting one. I mean, once again, the Redskins, talent wise, there are a lot.
I think they're a win now
They,
team. Maybe.
yeah, they just don't really have receivers. That's the
Yeah, I
problem.
guess so. I mean, they're not a team
I
that's
mean,
going to go win a Super Bowl, but I think they could. I mean, who knows? Like, you get into the playoffs, who knows what can happen? I think that they could make the playoffs with Nick Foles, but I don't know.
yeah, they could win the playoffs. I'm not sure if I don't know. That's a tough one. Um, Another one is the Denver Broncos, and
Yeah,
that's an interesting
that
one.
well, yeah, depends on
Yeah,
what they want to do with Keenum. He's such a
right.
question mark,
Elway admitted that he is a short-term fix,
really. Okay.
and they could, right? Yeah, so they, eat that 7 million guaranteed,
Yeah,
um,
they could get
and
rid of him pretty easily.
right, and I mean they they actually wouldn't. I feel like they wouldn't be that bad. They could actually probably be pretty decent with.
Yeah,
I'm just now thinking about this. They'd be a pretty decent team. They still have some holes. Um, you know, in their like secondary.
yeah.
Um, but with
I mean, that front
what's his
seven
face?
is lethal with
Yeah,
Miller
with
and Chubb and others.
Miller and Chubb, and then they've got they have enough weapons now. Philip Lindsay and
Yeah,
um,
yeah. Like, and
they just
all
need
the injuries that they had too. Like, how many wide receivers got injured for
right.
them this year? It was like two or three. I mean, I remember when we were watching the Browns
Yeah.
game, that Saturday night game. Like, the announcers kept saying like all the receivers that were like catching passes were like from the practice squad. Like, they were so thin by the end of the season. Um, so like once
Right.
they get those guys back, they could be in a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, definitely if they get Nick Foles, they'll be a lot better. I think they could be a they could make a run. I'm not sure about a Super Bowl, but
yeah,
I mean you never know.
yeah. Like that's the thing. You put up a good matchup against some teams, and I mean you saw with the Jaguars last year. Like no one thought that they were gonna do what they did, but they put up a good matchup against the Steelers, and they moved on. Like it's any day. Like if you do the right thing, if you come up with the right plan, like you can win any game. But so next topic, Browns free agency moves for this offseason. So
Um.
the few
Yeah.
holes, like I think we only need to
The
assess a
one
couple of
hole.
things. I think defensive tackle, we need to
That's the
upgrade
one
there.
key one.
Yeah, but the and defensive end too. But the great thing is this draft has like there could be 20 linemen selected in the first round. Like it's insane. Like this is the right draft for us to assess that issue. Um,
Oh yeah, that was
there's so
yeah,
many so
that was
many defensive
perfect.
linemen in this draft.
Yeah.
Because if you get
Yeah, we got kind of lucky with that one.
okay, yeah, so but like if like because you know you have Garrett,
Sorry.
you got
Go ahead.
Ogunjobi is great. You got linebacker, like we've got Kirksey and Schobert are two good linebackers. I don't think Collins. Like I think we're done with Collins
Right.
probably. So we need to upgrade there as well. But maybe could upgrade the secondary. That's not like a huge hole, but I mean you could upgrade it if you wanted to. But like if you get another
Right.
good pass rusher, like that's a really, really,
Yeah, probably one
really
more
good.
pass rusher.
Yeah,
One more pass rusher, and then like you need a run stopper on the interior
yeah, yeah.
because
I mean, would you even consider?
that was our big problem.
Would you consider like signing a free agent like D Ford or CJ Mosley or I don't know, trading for?
I mean,
No one comes to the top of my
I would,
mind. But
yeah, yeah. I mean, I would definitely consider, if I were, Dorsey going after a free agent, but I don't know.
yeah,
I
um,
mean,
I mean like D Ford, he'd be a great fit I think on the Browns, and obviously Dorsey. I mean I think Ford was there when Dorsey was there, so like they obviously know each other already. Dorsey probably likes him, so I don't know, but also, that another thing that comes to mind is I saw a thing today about Kareem Hunt and the Browns because obviously Dorsey drafted him. He saw great things in him, um, and they already have a relationship. If you were the Browns, would you like make an offer to Kareem Hunt? Um, see if
no,
he
you don't need him.
couldn't improve. Wait,
No,
what'd you
I
say?
mean we don't need Kareem. We don't need Kareem Hunt. I mean he's got
Yeah, I guess you're
he's got
right.
his whole bag of issues, and they have Nick Chubb. I mean,
That's
yeah,
true. I mean,
Nick Chubb
Chubb's a
was
blossoming
really
star,
good.
I think so.
Yeah, he was a really good running back
But I mean, you
this year.
like
So
you could still use Kareem Hunt for things. I mean, I guess they are kind of the same like type of running back a little bit, which maybe it wouldn't work as well. But I think the Browns are moving on from Duke Johnson, so there could be a spot there. Um,
why'd you say that?
well, once Kitchens took over, like I remember I was hearing just how Johnson's stats dipped after Kitchens took over at offensive coordinator. I think the way that the offense was built um,
I thought they went
kind
up.
of didn't for Duke Johnson.
I thought they went
Maybe
up
I'm
though.
wrong.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm wrong.
I'm pretty
But
sure they went up.
I'll
Cause
look
he
him up
had
really
like
quick.
that first game under. Here, I'm looking too. He did like really well that first game.
Yeah, you might be right.
So the first 8 games, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. First games he was averaging, what is the
Yeah, I mean, I guess they kind of stayed the same now that I look at it. Yeah, I mean, there were a couple games under Todd Haley where, like, I mean, one Buccaneers one game or one attempt for -4 yards. I mean, he's one of the
right?
best
It starts
receiving
to
backs in
happen.
the league, but like, I don't know. I don't think we really need him that much.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, the, 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 the question was, whether we should get Kareem Hunt. Duke Johnson doesn't really matter. I don't think we need him because, Kareem Hunt. We don't really need him because Nick Chubb is. We have our main back in Nick Chubb.
Yeah,
There's no reason to take Kareem
yeah.
Hunt. Pay him.
I guess it would kind
However
of
much,
cause a
and
little bit of controversy
a little bit
too.
of
So
controversy,
probably
and
not worth
yeah,
what
you
you
don't need to
get.
risk. Right? It's not. It's just not worth the.
On that topic though, like not worth what you get. If you're the Browns and you have a chance to trade for, Odell Beckham Jr. or Antonio Brown this offseason, what do you think about that? Do you think that the Browns should do that, or should stay away from that?
I mean, Odell maybe, but Antonio Brown, I don't know.
I think at least Antonio Brown, you stay away from him as much as you can. I'm not as opposed
Yeah.
to Odell Beckham Jr. because I don't think he's as much of a cancer. I don't think Antonio Brown. I would not take him no matter what. Um, but Odell Beckham could help the Browns. I think Jarvis Landry would be a lot
Yeah.
better as a second receiver, not a first receiver. I think he'd be a lot better if there's a star receiver ahead of him. But like I don't know, we'd have to
Right.
give
Yeah.
up a
I
ton
feel
for
like
that.
he'd be. I think he'd be better as a slot receiver, like he was in Miami.
Yeah, and we'd have to give up a bunch
Um.
for Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah. I mean, well, I mean, how long is Odell on contract for? Because he might. I
Um,
mean, he's already.
I'll get out there really quick.
I mean, there's a chance he might.
Oh, he's on a
He
5-year
might
extension,
end up.
so he's got 4 more years on his contract.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. So that means we'd have to trade. I mean.
Would you give up two
I mean, it
first
really
rounders
depends on
or even a first rounder and a second?
who. That's a tough one.
Well, I mean the first rounders, like
Um.
this year it's 17, and then next year if we're in the playoffs it's mid 20s. So they're not the first round picks that we're used to as Cleveland fans, like in the top 10. Um, like those are lower
Right,
picks.
but still, I mean, the first rounder. I mean, we still need a defensive lineman, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And
Um, yeah, you're right.
all right, so our next topic is going to be talking about probably the two biggest free agents of this season in the MLB. We have Bryce Harper and Manny Machado. So, some of the there's been a bunch of teams that have been rumored about, the having to do with those two players. Just lots of rumors, lots of conversation. What do you think, Schaefer?
Well, I mean, it's kind of weird because we're what 2-3 weeks from spring training, and we've still got Machado, Harper, Keuchel, Craig Kimbrell, um, tons of guys who haven't signed yet who are huge pieces. But for Machado, at least, I honestly, as much as an Indians fan, it kind of would bother me. I think he'll sign with the White Sox. Um, I think we'll still win the division because I don't think the White Sox
Oh
are going to
yeah,
be good enough.
no, yeah,
But
that won't.
he's there with Yonder Alonso just got there, who's his brother-in-law. You've got John Jay. They just signed, I'm pretty sure, and they're pretty good friends. So yeah, I think Machado will probably end up going to the White Sox.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, I mean they offered him what, 7 year for like 127 million, and the troves of minor league prospects in the White
yeah,
Sox system. That's probably if I were Machado, I definitely, because I mean that's a contender in the next couple of years, I'd say.
wait. So who?
Um,
What team are you saying
that
for
Chicago
Machado?
White Sox team.
White
White
Sox.
Sox, I think, is definitely the
Okay,
smartest
yeah.
one.
I
Yeah, I mean
honestly, I don't think the White
they have a
Sox, even if they get Machado, like I don't know if they'll be above 80 wins next year. Just because their starting pitching
well,
is
not
pretty
next
poor
year,
right now. I mean, in a few years they'd be good because
right?
their
In
farm
a few
system is so
years,
good. But
they're minor league,
like,
right? Yeah, exactly.
um, but I don't think it's ever really smart to give that much money to one player because, like in baseball, they don't affect the game. Like they don't affect the game so much. I think you could use that money on, three different players that can all affect the team uh, for the better. But like, I mean, Machado's obviously insanely talented, but um, I don't think it's
Right.
smart to throw all that money at one player. That's just my opinion.
Yeah,
I
I
know other
mean,
people think differently than that, but I think you should be focusing on
I don't know.
other solid players.
I mean, yeah, it's true, but I don't know. I think I mean White Sox are a big market team. I think they can afford
Yeah.
that more than you know us as like Cleveland. And I think getting Machado would definitely be huge. I mean, he will be the centerpiece, like
Oh yeah.
veteran on
For
You know,
sure.
a team that within a few years will be competing with all that um, up and coming talent in the minors
Yeah.
that currently in the minors. So I don't know. I mean, I think
Yeah.
even
I
though
mean,
that is it is
Bryce
technically
Harper though, like I I'm clueless for
that's got
him.
Phillies
I'm
all
clueless
over it.
on where Bryce Harper is going.
That's Bryce Harper that has Phillies all over it.
Phillies.
I mean, there's been things where
Okay.
he's talked to the Phillies. He's like went to lunch. Phillies GM. I mean, that's got Phillies
Yeah.
all over it.
Don't think he's going back to the
Um,
Nationals. I think that's
like
over with.
no. Yeah, I mean, I just get reports all the time. 'Cause I'm a Phillies fan. I get
Yeah.
reports about that, and it's like all this like which would definitely be um, interesting.
Phillies are putting
The
together
thing
a
is,
good
the
team over there.
Phillies
Phillies have a really good team.
they're putting together a really good team, but I think they still have
Yeah.
some work to do as far as pitching
That's
staff
true.
because offensively, they've got they'll put Reese Hoskins at first. They'll have Cesar Hernandez.
They had Gene
They'll
Segura,
have
who can I
Gene
say is
Segura,
he's probably
Gene
the most
Segura.
underrated player in the league. That guy consistently hits at
Yeah,
315, 320, and nobody ever talks about him. Like the Phillies getting him,
yeah. Gene
that's a
Segura is gonna
huge
be
signing. Like nobody really talked about it. That's a huge signing. He is like he's an all-star. And they have
right.
McCutcheon to mentor some of the younger guys. Um, that's gonna be a good team next year.
Yeah. Yeah. And Odubel Herrera, and then Bryce Harper.
Yeah,
Potentially. Yeah, but their pitching staff is definitely
yeah.
their weakest link. I mean, they've got Aaron Nola,
They have Arrieta,
um,
who's okay.
and that's about
I
it.
mean, they've got some other
Arrieta,
good
yeah,
guys
that's
like
about it.
Velasquez, but they definitely need to do some work on that. Um,
Yeah. And that's the thing is if they throw a bunch of money at Bryce Harper,
yeah,
it's going to be
that's the
tough
that.
to.
See, that's what I
I
was
mean,
saying.
granted,
Like,
Philly's a
you
large.
throw so much money at a
Right,
player, all of a
right,
sudden
right.
it's
Granted,
tough to like build around it.
yeah. Well, yeah. The thing with the White Sox though is that
That's
they have
true.
minor league
Yeah,
talent, whereas the Phillies don't really have
yeah.
that.
They need a
But
reliever too. I mean, they have They have Robertson.
right,
Pat Neshek is always solid. Um, but like not enough big name. I mean, they have Nicasio, but I think they could definitely do with like one or two more guys to like just
right. Yeah, they need to
yeah
strengthen that.
get some depth in there. Indians, what do you think about their moves or lack thereof this off season?
Yeah. At first, I was really frustrated, but I actually I sort of see what they're doing, and it's actually I think it's smart,
Yeah,
right? Because Chris Antonetti, I was reading about what he said. It was on Cleveland.com. Something about what he said in to the a reporter or something about because we're a small market, we can't keep up with the that we were setting record highs in
yeah,
payroll spending, and we can't keep that up. So we severely trimmed that down. I mean, if you look at all the free agents we lost, I mean, it's granted we're still going to be competitive, but we did lose a lot of free agents, and I think um, we're in a better place to we're still going to make the playoffs. I mean,
for
the
sure.
AL Central is so weak. As we make that playoff push, we can trade for pieces. Get pieces that we need, and make a push. And if not, if we don't do that, or if we, if the we'll have or payroll space to spend, in the upcoming years, or we're still in a good position. I think we had our best chances a few years back. 2016, 2017 and
Yeah,
2018, obviously. Um,
rough years.
but we're not. It's not completely over yet. I think the Indians are still. They've positioned themselves in such a way that it's still
Yeah,
possible for them to put together
I
a
mean,
good
yeah.
team.
As an Indians fan, I'm like all around me, like on the radio and everything. You're hearing about how fans are so disappointed with what the Indians are doing this offseason. And I'm looking at this team with probably, arguably, the best five-man rotation in the league. Um, you've got arguably the best left side of the infield in the league. You've got a bullpen they're not great. I think you could definitely do more work on the bullpen. That's the one thing that this offseason I'm disappointed with so far is how we're missing out on guys like Adam Ottavino from the Rockies. Zach Britton, other guys who we could have used, but we're building around we're building young good guys like Jake Bauers has a lot of talent. Jordan Luplow is great. The guy from the Mets, like Plawecki, I don't know how to say his name, the new catcher. We got Santana back. This team reminds me a lot of the 2016 team, where you've got great pitching. You've got just young guys with talent who can surprise people in the postseason. And I think the last 2 years, our problem was that we weren't consistent enough. The guys that we had aren't consistent, and we flop in the postseason.
Right.
But I think the guys we have now can compete. I mean, I know a lot of people are saying we can't compete with other teams. I think if we upgrade the bullpen a little bit, we can compete with this team.
Yeah.
And it just really reminds me of the 2016
when
team.
We make that up. Yeah. I think if we're gonna make that, postseason push at the deadline, we're gonna be trading for some decent pieces.
Yeah. I mean, right now, on the depth chart, I'm looking at we have 8 guys in the rotation, which obviously you'll need 5. And Danny Salazar, I think, would be great in the bullpen. His stuff really works out well for a bullpen kind of guy. So I think you put him in the bullpen. Cody Anderson, he could be good in there. But yeah, that rotation, you don't have to worry about that.
Danny Salazar's. Yeah, he's always injured though.
Wait, sorry, what'd you say?
I don't know. All right, so I just said he's always injured, Danny Salazar. And if he comes back this year and stays healthy, it's just
I think Danny Salazar can still make a comeback. He was an all-star the last time he was fully healthy.
Right. He's only 29.
He was an all-star. That's what people are forgetting. He has really, really good stuff.
Yeah, he's an all-star, but it's still difficult to come back from almost 2 years of not playing.
It's true.
So probably our last topic, I think it's gonna be I think we're gonna finish off on the Yankees.
Wait, what'd you say?
So we're gonna finish off on the Yankees. I said I hate that team, but they are. Do you think they can win the World Series this year? They've put themselves in a position where they're offensively just this offseason signing. They most recently, DJ LeMahieu. They've got Troy Tulowitzki now. They're just. There's some. I think there's something else I'm forgetting.
They got Ottavino in the bullpen. That guy. He was from the Rockies last year. I don't know if you remember, but in some of those playoff games, his stuff was like some of the nastiest stuff I've ever seen. I don't know how this guy went so unpursued. I don't even know if that's a word. Unpursued in this offseason. That guy was incredible. And his numbers were so good last year. His ERA, I think, was 150 or something. And no teams really went after him. I think that's the guy that the Indians should have gone after. But, the Yankees bullpen was already so good, and they just upgraded even more. So, and Zach Britton, they have him too.
He's been kind of mediocre, though.
Who?
Honestly.
Zach Britton?
He hasn't been. Britton, he's been
That's true.
mediocre.
Yeah, that is true.
He hasn't been the same. When the game I went to against the Red Sox, he just wasn't that great.
He's a bit washed up, but
yeah, for sure. But other than that, they have. I think this might be this might be their biggest shot at a World Series
Yeah.
since
I mean,
um,
they have like so many different guys. Like right now on their depth chart, G.J. LeMahieu isn't starting. Didi Gregorius isn't starting. I mean, he's obviously injured, but
right
their infield is so like crowded,
infielders. They're just
like so crowded.
right.
Their outfield is kind of crowded, not as much. I mean, I don't know. Their infield though, like it's gonna be tough getting some of those new signings, like even time to play, which isn't a bad problem really, but
right. Yeah. I mean, I don't. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Are they probably gonna put? I don't know if they can put somebody at like first, because I mean, who's their first baseman
Voit.
right now? It's
Well,
what's his
I mean,
face,
it's
isn't it?
Voit, but Greg Bird, like,
What?
I mean,
Yeah, Greg
yeah,
Bird.
I mean, I
That's
don't
what I was
think
thinking of.
he's really. He didn't really have a good end of the season last year, so Luke
Yeah, but
Voit starting over him right now. I mean, Luke Voit played really well, so they might be rolling with him at first base. And then they got Torres at second,
Yeah.
Tulowitzki at short, and Andujar at third.
Yeah, but then you got Gregorius as well, and you've got
Tyler Wade
Mayhew.
is pretty good.
It's just like they're really deep.
Honestly,
and
though, I
pretty
don't think
much
they're going to win a World
everywhere
Series.
offensively.
I'm willing to put money that the Yankees won't win the World Series.
I hope they don't.
I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't know why. I don't think that the way, I don't know, it's hard to explain. I don't think that this team really comes alive in the playoffs like they should. I mean, as an Indians fan, they obviously beat us, but I mean, I don't want to say that they got lucky, but there were some times when they got lucky. I mean, obviously not in Game 5. They totally raked Kluber.
Yeah, I definitely.
But like,
I definitely know. I know what you mean. They don't seem to like really catch on fire like the.
And they lost key
Red
games to the
Sox
Astros.
do.
They like in key moments like Sanchez not catching the throw to get. I think it was Altuve was the one that scored the walk off. I think it was Game 1. But they would have had him out. Sanchez just drops it. It's like
Sanchez
little
is
things like
awful.
that. Like they're just not clutch in the right moments. Like they're a great team, probably have the most talent in the league. But I think when it comes down to moments like that, they're not a team that's able to win a World Series. That's just my opinion. I mean, it might change this year, but they showed that they're up 3-2 on the Astros. They can't close that out. Yeah.
Sanchez was awful. Can we just say that the catcher who's
Oh,
notoriously
he's
bad
the worst catcher
defensively
in the league defensively.
had his offense was his defense was actually his defensive wins above replacement was actually not that bad.
Really?
Actually, it was his offense that was. He had a he had a. I mean, obviously, he had a really bad season offensively. He had a 1.4 WAR, wins above replacement, 6.3 defense, and a negative 5.2 offense, and then a negative 0.3 base running. So yeah, he just had a bad season. I just want to look that up because I knew he had a really bad offensive season.
So for probably our last topic for this podcast is Anthony Davis, obviously just requesting the trade from the Pelicans, getting fined $50,000, which is kind of funny because he makes like 5 times that in one game. But anyway, so potential landing spots for Davis. I heard that they don't want to trade him to the Lakers, but obviously if the Lakers offer them enough, I think they'd still go through with it. Any thoughts?
I mean, yeah. I mean, the Lakers would have to offer a lot. They'd have to offer, what was it, Anthony Davis and Kyle Kuzma, or not Anthony Davis, Lonzo Ball and Kyle
definitely,
Kuzma,
at least that.
and like a pick. I mean, that's a lot.
I mean, I saw that for the talks to even get started, the Lakers had to offer Alonzo, Kuzma, I think it was their first round pick, and Ivica Zubac, who's a really underrated center, which is insane for one player that you'd give up that much young talent. But it is Anthony Davis.
That's That's a pretty
Like,
tall
could
order.
LeBron,
I mean, yeah,
like,
but at the
could
same time, I
LeBron,
mean,
just picture them on the same team, LeBron and Anthony Davis, could that duo take down the Warriors? I don't know. Those are two of the best players in the league.
um,
And LeBron can almost take down the Warriors by
Right.
himself. And you add Anthony Davis into the picture, you surround him with some of the right
Right.
guys. Like, who knows what could happen there?
yeah, definitely. I mean, see, the thing is, I mean, I could see them trading. I could see them trading
Yeah.
Lonzo Ball. Trading because Lonzo Ball is really he his potential is like being, I guess, misused
Yeah.
on the Lakers because the
Yeah, for
playmaker
sure.
is
And Lonzo's
LeBron,
such a playmaker, so
Lonzo is, yeah, he's probably, I mean, he's the most
yeah.
pure
I'm a huge
point
fan of
guard in the
Lonzo's
league.
play style. Like, you don't
Um,
see that much in the NBA anymore. I like it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's definitely fun to watch.
Yeah.
But if he goes, but so I could see the Lakers trading him. So if he goes to the Pelicans, whatever. The part that hurts is like the fact that they're adding Kyle Kuzma in there and the pick and Zubac. I mean that's a lot to give
Yeah.
up for Anthony Davis. I mean, Kyle Kuzma is great scorer.
Kuzma's going to be a great player.
The pick.
I think so.
And then yeah, so that's a lot to give up. I honestly, the Pelicans. I mean,
I think that they should definitely get, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of an obvious statement, but Anthony Davis is one of the best players that's ever going to be available for a trade, like, in the past and in the future. So, whoever they do trade him to, they need to make sure that they get, like, as much as they can out of it, which is an obvious statement, but, like, they could totally get, like, a ton of stuff for him.
If I'm the Lakers, I think that's a little too
Yeah.
much.
I mean, but if they do it right, they could
Right,
really
but
set
at the same
themselves
time,
for the
that's a
future
little too much.
pretty well. Like, it wouldn't even really hurt them, I don't think, if they do it correctly. Yeah, the Pelicans.
The Pelicans, you mean, or
The Pelicans.
Lakers? Well, yeah. If that trade happens, the Pelicans are gonna be they can be
for sure.
pretty
Um,
solid.
Another one I'm seeing on here is the Celtics. I don't know about that one. Like,
yeah,
I mean, who would they give up? They'd probably have to give up
Yeah, I don't.
Tatum, or I don't know, definitely some of their young talent. Like, I don't think the Pelicans would really want Gordon Hayward too much. I mean, they'd take him, but I don't think he'd be a priority.
No.
I mean, obviously not Kyrie because he's the face of that
I
franchise.
don't know what they'd exactly want from. Well, I've heard some things where people are saying Kyrie isn't really a good. I mean,
you think?
I don't know.
You think the Celtics could trade Kyrie?
I haven't really followed the NBA as closely. I don't know.
Wait, sorry, what'd you say?
I said
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean that's a tough one. I saw people saying that Kyrie, he's really good, but he just doesn't really fit on the Celtics. I don't know. I haven't watched the Celtics enough to say anything about that. But that makes me think though. Imagine a three-way trade between the Lakers, the Celtics, and the Pelicans.
That'd be absolutely crazy.
Like, imagine because no. Think about this. Imagine, because you saw the post on Bleacher Report about LeBron and Kyrie want to reunite, or Kyrie wants to reunite with LeBron. You send Kyrie to the Lakers. You send
Davis to the Celtics.
You send Kyrie to the Lakers.
That could actually totally work.
Celtics, and then Lonzo and.
Wait, that could. I didn't even.
Kuzma,
that could actually work out perfectly. Because then, okay, the Lakers. Like they reunite Kyrie and LeBron. That's a better fit than LeBron with some of these young guys. The Celtics get Kyrie out because I mean, if there is trouble there, I don't know if there is really, but they restart from him with Anthony Davis and some young guys to surround him. The Pelicans get a ton of young talent for the future. Like that completely is perfect for all three teams, I think.
Yeah, I I'm not sure. Yeah, this isn't the only weak. So I feel like the Celtics would be like the potential like losers there,
Yeah.
but they probably they would be. Mm, they'd be leaning on Terry Rozier being
Yeah,
um,
for sure.
a breakout star. I think.
Hmm
I mean, he did really
He's
well
got
in
a
the
lot of talent.
playoffs last year, so
The
yeah.
last one,
So
might as well mention the Warriors, which is stupid because I remember, I think it was over the offseason when there were all these
no,
rumors. Anthony Davis,
that
he
would
was
be
like,
retarded.
Anthony Davis said that if he got traded to the Warriors, he'd literally retire. So I respect that he said that because that would be the dumbest thing ever if he got traded there.
No, that would literally be that would
Yeah,
just call it
seriously.
the West
I mean,
offseason
but
for
who
them.
do the Warriors have to give
That's what
up?
it
Like,
is.
probably Durant or not Durant, sorry, Thompson and Draymond. Like, I think that their goal would be a big three with
Yeah, I
Curry,
guess.
Durant, and Davis. Probably. I don't know. Any last thoughts before we wrap this up?
Well then, they'd also have Cousins,
What'd you
so
say?
that's a big four kind of. But no, I mean that's pretty much it.
Oh yeah,
It
sorry.
would be a big
Completely forgot
four
what I
because of Cousins technically.
Wait. So any last thoughts before we
Assuming they were.
Wait here. I'm gonna cut that. Let's cut that out because there were a lot of
No, that's pretty much it
interruptions. Wait here. I'll write down the time.
All right.
So 52:30 we can cut out. All right. So want to talk about anything else? Want to get any last thoughts in? Really anything before we wrap it up for the day?
No, I think that's it.
All right, we covered a
Pretty much
lot.
said
So
everything I
got from Super Bowl,
have to
Nick
say.
Foles, Browns
Yeah.
off season, got some MLB stuff in there, and got this Anthony Davis in there. Pretty good first podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope
Thanks.
you guys enjoyed.
If anyone made it
That
to the
was a
end,
lot of
thank
fun.
you. Obviously this is our first podcast, so we're still learning a little bit, but thank you guys for listening, and hope you enjoyed. And we'll see you in the next one.